Hello, and welcome to Ace Attorney, Apollo Justice. Or Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. I guess it is actually said. So, new game. There are 4 episodes. Showdown time. You lose. Ugh! Scream. I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. I don't think I did that as April 20th, 9:37, District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. I don't think I did that as distraught as I should have. I think. Oh right, it's a DS game. I didn't need the. Added the 3DS-ness of it. I think that's good. But hey, I mean, now I have it until next time when I do want to play a 3DS game. Panicked, palms sweaty. I can admit it, I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Ah. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise. Is that your voice? I suppose it is to be expected. Your first trial. It's a homicide, I guess. Justice doesn't start small, eh? I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Chords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your voice. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir! I'm all over that drift! As it happens, I dined with him the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing your case. You might want to introduce yourself to the clients. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of murder. My boss wants to help him out. Of course. And so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Whoa! Hmm? Good morning. Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial, nervous. Meeting him, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help? So you're fine. I'm fine. Mr. Fine, is it? Uh, uh. I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Oh, let me just. There we go. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney. And he's your friend, so why? You'll see. Huh? You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time, shall we? Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, I need to focus. First trial. Here comes justice. April 20th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 2. Why did I not expect this to be demanding on my voice? I didn't get a glass of water. Just hold on like 30 seconds. I'll be right back with a glass of water for myself. You see, if you need to play a nervous role, you actually do get kind of nervous. Okay, it's been a while since I played the first 3 Phoenix Wright games, so I am kind of nervous. I don't remember how this works, so how long did I yearn for one of these? Just putting it on makes me feel ready. Smith's autopsy report. Type reports received during the preliminary hearing. The time of the death was around 2 a.m., April 17th. Death caused by a single blow to forehead. The sub-basement at the Borscht Bowl Club. Touch the check button for details. Oh right, you can check. Ah, there's a number inscribed on there's a number inscribed on the back of the badge. There are many numbers like it, but this one's mine. Proof that I'm an attorney. To tell you the truth, I get a happy feeling inside just looking at it. Ah, victim's name, Shadi Smith. That sounds made up. Age none, male. Estimated time of death. between 1:45 and 2:15 a.m. Cause of death: cerebral hemorrhaging resulting from blunt force trauma to forehead. Yep, that is an illegal poker game. Profiles. Okay, I'm guessing... Oh, Shadi Smith, the victim in this case. A traveler, only recently back in country. Christoph Gavin. Boss at Gavin Law Offices. A first-rate defense attorney. And my trusted mentor. My first client, just standing in front of this guy, makes me nervous. The court is now in session. The prosecutor is ready, Your Honor. Oh my god, what happened to Payne? The defense is, fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late. Your name was Mr. Justice? And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor. I have already forgotten what I gave him, what voice I gave him. I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes, and my client specifically requested Mr. Justice. Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust his case to this greenhorn, why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. Okay, so Gavin got trial experience, fine. But does he have cords of steel? Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright. I was going to say that, like, he had a striking resemblance with the chin and all, but... Huh? Let's put the... I have also forgot what I gave Wright for voice, but apparently I'm gonna give him a new voice, because I did not actually think that it was right. Okay. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne. To think I saw you enter this room, a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains. Winston Payne. Subtle as ever, I see. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him. Wham! On the head! Smack! Killed him cold! A customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was... the pianist! For the club, it seems. Phoenix Wright, a pianist? This is the weapon that took the victim's life. A bottle of grape juice. Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice. The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record. I've heard of that. Use the court record button to look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Grape juice bottle used as the murder weapon. Bears the defendant Mr. Wright's prints. Well, it would, wouldn't it? Why is there no blood on it if this... Oh! Grape juice! How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. The bottle is completely empty. Okay. Pianist at the Borscht Bowl Club, formerly an ace defense attorney of some renown. The prosecuting attorney. For all his experience, he lacks a certain presence. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right, the court record button. Sounds like it's time for some hands-on action. So, the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shady Smith fellow? Actually, why don't I do this? I specifically made this for that. It's a bit blurrier. Can I... Not without making that... It's a bit striped, but... That's as good as I can get it. But who was this, Shady Smith fella? We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor. A traveler? According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear. And he had some sort of connection with the defendant. That, too, is unclear at the present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime. If they had only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing. That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skills. At least not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I mean. As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime. Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in itself! Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game, in the purest sense, a competition, Your Honor. A competition? Yes, a test of wits. silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs written in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again? The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women. That will be our first order of business here, then. To find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it, my first trial. Here goes nothing. The competition. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attraction. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is, a game. And our customers are happy. A pianist who can't play piano? Better than a defense attorney who can't defend. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination, don't blow it. Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy too. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher? Course in cross-examination? Yeah, I mean, I know how to do it. Refresher, please. Better safe than sorry, especially this early in the game. Yes. In the game, yeah, Yes, teach me, I know nothing! No, I do know some things, but just refresh my memory. Indeed, your job, Justice, is to be mindful of the court record and the testimony. Look for inconsistencies in the testimony with what the court record tells you. When you've found an inconsistency, that's when you present the conflicted evidence from the court record. But I didn't hear anything strange at all in the testimony just now. A good sign that you need to press the witness for more information. Press him? Don't let the fact that he's a remarkable man hold you back. Get more information. But isn't Mr. Wright my client? Well, think you can do it? Yes, thank you, sir! I think I can do it. I think you'd better, or we're going to have a problem. Just remember, find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Inconsistencies, lies. Phoenix Wright? As if Phoenix Wright would never lie. And it's up to me to prove it. The defense may begin the cross-examination. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. Hold it! Does that not work when this is plugged in? God damn it. No, you see, there's this icon up here. Oh wait, you can't actually see it. If I do this, see there's this icon up here. Technically, oh wait, no. I need to press Y, I think. Hold it! Yeah, that works. You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes when customers demand it. So I play them one song, that's usually all they want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is... the title of pianist is a mask, a respectable face I wear for the world at large. Then why are you really at the Borscht Bowl Club? My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. Hold it! They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I am a professional after all. Ah! Do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine. Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston. What? I've played poker for 7 years in that little room, and I've never lost once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite the draw. That is, I'm quite the draw. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even once? One time? As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. Hold it! The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction? It has quite the history, actually. The Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. The black market? All in the past, things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room. Smoky room, gambling hoods, you know. Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The boss's guitar... The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through a small window. Small window? I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout, but little else. The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. Are you sure about that? 2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor. Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor. Each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Incidentally, we use 2 types of cards at the club. One deck of cards was red, and the other blue. Wait, but... As I recall, in poker you make 5 card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yes, a game of hands. Huh? Wait, but... This competition you're talking about? I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently. That's right. It was a simple game after all. Are you sure? Huh? People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment the crime occurred. Yet you claim no connection to the crime. Now that's strange. What's strange? I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right. There's something I'd like to make clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand. And I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not? Very well. The defendant will amend his testimony. Just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. I plead silence regarding the murder. I will not say I never touched the murder weapon, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Just gonna... silence? The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage. And it's your job to turn that around into our favor, yes? Great, like I didn't have enough to do already. Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony? Huh? Yes, I did. Wait, something he said did ring a little strangely. Just one thing. Now, what was it? When you figure it out, I'd suggest presenting evidence. Evidence that contradicts the testimony. A contradiction in Mr. Wright's testimony? But why? I'd better check the court record. I can't imagine Mr. Wright lying in a testimony. Isn't it a little early to be jumping to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press. Right, got it. I'm fine. Time to listen to that testimony again. I just want to check this one. It doesn't say anything about just having blue cards, but... Objection! So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon? This grape juice bottle? Right? So I said. Yeah. Something the matter, Mr. Justice? Too bad for a new defense attorney. Never learn how to play dumb. What's this, Mr. Payne? I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints. No need to shout, Mr. Justice, I can hear you just fine. I didn't shout because I have neighbors, but I just imagine that I shouted in his voice. Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears and our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a bottle in a restaurant? Well, that's true. The prints alone don't... Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints. Huh? But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down. Upside down? What does that mean? It means he was holding the bottle inverted. And there can only be one reason for that. Yes. To brain someone with a bottle. Ah! Mr. Gavin, I think things took a turn for the worse. Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything, you'll see. Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court? I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case. I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be a reason. Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something. And what might that be, Mr. Gavin? On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police? Reporter? Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright. But still, that... Really? Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone. Near the scene? Let's take a look at a diagram of the murder scene, shall we? Oh yes, please. The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement 2 floors down from the ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in the hallway to go up above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant. I see, and this phone... And this is the phone that made the call. Wright's cell phone added to court record. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he's being uncooperative. Ugh. Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being. Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about... What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment the crime occurred? How can you possibly know this? That is a good question. How indeed? The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness. You're as good as they say you are. So someone else was in the room the night of the crime? That must mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up until now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready? No. Very well, the prosecution may call its first witness to the stand. The witness will state her name and profession. Hold on just a moment. Where is the witness? I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns. Wait, you mean... Uh, so I used the little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off. But it's my hair. You sure? I swear it on my gavel. Please come out. Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor? Well, if you're sure it's okay. Ahem. Now, the prosecution. Wait a minute. Will the prosecution care to explain the witness's, paraphernalia? Yes. She's a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools for her trade. And that would be? My name is Olga Orley. I'm employed as waitress in Borscht Bowl Club restaurant. Then why the camera? Of course, it is my pride to serve borscht, that is, naming a restaurant. But I also perform, how it's said, other service. I take it one of these other services is taking customers' pictures. Da. Like, for example, this one. That's the defendant? Indeed, on the night of the murder. Man in white hat is one who's got kaput. Indeed, that is the victim. Order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop in our laps. It is shame that it is same way as I drop cold bowls of borscht on laps of customers, casually. Then the court will casually accept this new evidence. Olga's photo added to the court record. Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder? I was in room, the hideout, do we call it? Excuse me, the hideout? It is room where famous gangster, Bad Guy, was arrested. Bad Guy? Really? It's a room where murder took place. Your look of utter surprise, it is lovely. I will post by courtroom door later for you. Da, photos will be numbered, and you will write which ones you want copy of. So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shadi Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley, our witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, then that means... Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about that night's events. The fateful night. That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. Da. The victim, he plays whole hand with his hand on locket at his neck. Then last hand is done, but something terrible has happened. Da. That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death. Wait, it's... Wait, what? Incidentally, who won the game? Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith. That's ridiculous, because Mr. Right can't lose. Justice. Maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection? But he hadn't lost in 7 years. Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case my first 7 years as a prosecutor either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here. These are the poker chips, as they lay the very moment of the crime. Wait, but... The hand and chips on this side belongs to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith. Chips? Chips, you say? Yes! Imagine that poker is war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils. I know that. After all, the poker hand of courtroom number 3. The poker head of courtroom number 3. I didn't get to read what it said before. I think he means poker face. Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table. Chip photo added to the court record. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Before that, though, I am going to take a look at the evidence that I've gathered now, used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant's first floor. Whoa! The batteries are held in place with a piece of tape. He should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it, or he just doesn't care. Olga's photo. Oh, wait. Oh. Is it just like... Yes, there we go. It's back. Wait, since I'm looking at that, maybe I should do this. And... There. Wait, but... They aren't playing poker right here. They're eating. Just looking at it, see if he wants to say something. He doesn't. Okay. Is that a car down there? Well, actually, I think... Wait, no. This was one of Olga's photos, right? There was a car down in the corner of the photo that you can't see. That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game. You were dealing the cards? Do you do this often? Da, I am doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Board, cards, more burst. It is my work. It's good to hear of a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service. Welcome you to Borscht Club, where borscht is as warm as the waitresses. Wow. Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. Oh, so I didn't get the flyer? That's sad. No, I didn't. Actually, wait. Oh, I can't present personalities yet. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. Ah. It's already April. How could it be cold? At Borscht Bowl Club we have pride in our authentic rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside it is city in spring, but inside it is always as cold as Mother Russia. No way am I going there. When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning. Da! The victim, he plays whole time with his hand on locket at his neck. I want to have a look at this locket. His locket? I believe it was a good luck charm. Da! He gripped it many times as he played at night. Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it were small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift. The defense would like a clarification. This is about a locket we're talking about. I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket? Of course, I knew that. It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that. No. A locket's a locket. It's considered bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding? So, what happened next? Okay, so I don't get to see it. Thanks. Then last hand is done, but something terrible has happened. Ah. What? He was murdered? Something terrible? Eh! The defense will refrain from needless shouting. Sorry. I need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing. Now, Mr. Orley, can you tell us what happened? Oh, I was so frightened. I remember I trembled with fear. That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death. But the defendant would never do such a thing. Well, now, I can't say I've heard the defense try this tactic. If possible, please refrain from embarrassing me. Still, why would anyone do something like this over a game of poker? Perhaps it is because the defendant has lost game. Yes, a crushing defeat for a man undefeated. So it always is with men like him. Winners make sore losers. And how the mighty fall. Go ahead. I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir. Leave it to me. There were only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shadi Smith, Mr. Wright, and if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, I've got you now, Orley. Okay, let's just... Nothing new was strangling him to death. Blunt trauma to the forehead. It must be this that I need to present, right? Objection! Oh really? Strangled, you say? That's odd. Ah, normal customers only choke on borscht. How many customers have choked to death on borscht? God. Okay, yeah, sure. No, I mean this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. Ah! Miss Orley, really now? Did you witness the crime? Ah! Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. He's still wearing his hat and everything. Yet it is a fact that he was, Your Honor. Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during our investigation. Well, that is quite shocking, isn't it? His head certainly was hit. Crime photo 2 added to court record. But I have seen it. The defendant, he lunged at victim, his neck. Oh really, Mrs. Orley? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What? What do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. There is such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much too. Wait, but that night, customer had asked me to deal cards for a game. Yeah, well. Photo of forehead. Hat removed. During investigation. Right. He doesn't have a locket on. And I don't think you could see that. Does he have a locket on here? There he does have a locket. It's very tiny. Right there, you see a little light spot there. That has to be the locket. Just gonna... After the defendant tried to strangle victim, he hit him with bottle. Wait, you just changed? didn't say anything about hitting before.
So sorry. I must be forgetting this, duh.
Witness, you will take greater care with your testimony.
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
And that clears up the discrepancy with the autopsy report, I believe. The defendant made to struggle his victim, then changed his mind, and chose a simpler, blunter method to do the job. Yes, that sums it up nicely. So he strangled him, then hit him? Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead, I believe you know what it is you need to do. Right, sir, leave it to me. There are only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shadi Smith, Mr. Wright, and blah blah blah. I just want to get back to this. Okay, so I am going to say that it is this one. Can I just... Ah, right, because I can select them like this. Crime photo 2. You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Gavin said. But what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what it is you're thinking so intensely about? Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his locket on his neck, I believe she said. I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar. No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean? If we are to believe this witness testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off. Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? Huh. Wait, but how does that help us? Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say. Yes? I just noticed this, but... You have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Oh yeah, he does. Oh? You mean this? Yes, it's a locket. With a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter? That's what I want to know. We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter. He has a daughter? So Mr. Wright has a locket too. Why don't I buy it that this is just a coincidence? Well now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game. Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost. Badly. Miss Orley? You will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
Da.
Serious competition. There we are. Can If I don't... Up. That's a full glass.
The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes. Small and large. The one man who was winning, it was victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Indeed, looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game. Well, you see, there are still some chips at, like, Phoenix's spot, though. So if he went all in, why are there still chips there? I'm still going to press on every single one, though.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
Huh. How many times have I heard those words? Why does the judge do that? Ah, well, whatever. I guess you'll know what it said if you're watching this. Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Methinks? There is no space. Methinks. Excuse me, Apollo? Okay. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong.
The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man.
Are these the usual starting points? Were there special rules used?
No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
If each man begins with 3,500 points, then the total would be... exactly 7,000 points. Please, this is in calculus. It's not even long division.
House chips come in two sizes, small and large.
Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used?
Of course.
Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? I think this one might actually be able to hurt me if I... No need. Yet. Nah. Oh, it's just her nature to be jumpy and suspicious looking. Okay.
The one who was winning, it was victim.
You're telling me that Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing?
It must have been most unlucky day for him. I am glad I did not take other picture of him. It would break camera, certainly. The chips, they were always to the victim's side of table. So you're telling us it was a one-sided game? One-sided, and... For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose.
Last hand?
It was largest points.
Really, battery? Hold on a second. You're really complaining about battery. Stupid camera. It isn't plugged in, so it's kind of my fault, but I just charged it and it should have at least a battery life of 4 hours. Also, shouldn't it say please charge or something like that? No, it just... Okay. Let's see, let's just put this cable in here. Please fit beside each other. Oh my god. Is the other one I have smaller? I think it is. Yes, this one I can fit in there. Like that. Oh. Shortcake. I just moved the camera. Well, let's just see. If I plug this in, does it actually charge from this port? I don't think I've ever actually tested that. It came with a separate charger. No, it doesn't seem to be charging. Well then, so stupid. Why can't you just charge this camera like, you know, a normal person? By plugging it in. No, you have to take out the battery and charge it on the side. Well, whatever. I guess that's the end of the stream. Damn, these games take long to play. I was like thinking, oh yeah, sure, I can play like the entire one of the stories in like maybe 2 hours, if I'm being generous. To be honest, I don't think we've even like gone in like over 10% of this specific story, and there are 4 of them. I've forgotten how long these games are, actually. Well, I guess come back next Wednesday and I'll be streaming more of this. Or Friday if you're watching on YouTube. So yeah, if you have enjoyed watching me play this and also hearing my voice acting for this, I can't say I'm that good at doing voices. I could be better, but I'm also not terrible at it. They don't all sound the same. I'm terrible at keeping track of what voice, yes, but if you do want to see more of me, then there is always the YouTube page by the same name as this Twitch channel, and it's also linked on the Twitch main page. If you're already watching this on YouTube, then that like button and subscribe button are always really appreciated if you would click them. And if you want to catch me live, then there is a link in the description down below to the Twitch page. You never know, I might be live like right now, as you're watching this. I mean, at least you'll know I'm live Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5 PM European Central Time. But I can also be live at any other point streaming something that doesn't end up on YouTube. So you really should click that little heart-shaped follow button. But yes. Bye bye. Bye bye bye. Bye. Bye.